If you've ever taken on the task of trying to improve your own golf swing and found it frustrating and haven't made much improvement, stick around.
Oh, goodness.
I actually read a comment on our YouTube channel a couple weeks back where the guy said, we just like talking about, we like taking shots at amateurs when we explain how to do stuff poorly, right? We have done just about everything we've talked about at one point or another. I think people sometimes forget we're golfers too.
And it comes from the right place. We want nothing more for everybody to get better at golf. It only helps us.
And we want to get better at golf. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's why we built this whole place.
Yeah, exactly right.
So what are some, we were just talking about this off camera before we started rolling, and we had to dwindle the list down to probably the 3 worst drills we've ever spent, and we're both practicers. We have been in every sport we've played. So you go do 1,000 drills, you're going to do 5,000.
Yeah.
Like we're both overachievers as far as how many reps we do. And these drills, we're still trying to recover from some of these.
Yeah, you know, if I was a practicer, I would hit tons of balls at the range, and if you told me to do something like you said, I'll do 5 times the amount you wanted me to do, just because, like, oh, if this many's good, this many's got to be better. Well, that only works if you're doing something that will help you. And some of these things these rabbit holes we've gone down with these particular drills, like you said, I'm still digging my way out of some of them. So hopefully this video will save you some time and energy. Don't do the ones we're going to show you, and we'll provide some other ones that actually help.
Just digging it out of the dirt, which has been the common excuse for improvement, for the path to improvement forever. It's where you're digging, meaning what's the concept you're trying to ingrain with the drill. And in these drills, starting with the very first one, the concept was so poor that when you actually do it, again, we're speaking to you guys that are practicers. If you don't practice at all, you don't have to worry about this because nothing's going to change. But if you're a practicer and you're a diligent practicer, these things are going to have a bad impact on your game.
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's go straight to the takeaway, because we both did hours and hours and thousands of reps of this.
Yeah, so over the years, there's been a lot of different ways that people have taught.
For people who don't know, we didn't grow up together.
Yeah, no.
Like we didn't meet each other until we were
old.
Yeah, old. So yeah, we've known each other about 15 years. So up until then, separately, different parts of the country, we were being taught this stuff.
We were both grinding on the swing. We didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And bad stuff at that. So first one I would do is a version of a takeaway drill that I would never do or teach anybody now. Just because I know the shape of the swing, way it should be to hit good shots. It comes from the person that takes the club in like this, right? It's this hands out club in, popped takeaway where the club gets behind. We had a guy yesterday that was in for a half a day with us that did that. And it took a while to get him out of it. And a lot of it was just his concept. So the drill I would do, I'd say, okay, I'm going to do kind of the first step here. And then I would stop. And then I would hit from there. So I would make my takeaway. I would kind of pause, make sure it was in a good spot. Then I would make the backswing. The problem with that was the way that the body and arms are kind of positioned here. When you add some speed to that finish in the backswing, a lot of times that club is going to flip, and when it does, it has to flip actually. When it does, it'll flip laid off that way. And for me, when I did that and it flipped laid off, I would pull on it again, and it would always want to come down, tumbling a little too much over the hands, which we call that tipping out. And when you tumble a club, most of the time, if it comes from there, it's a shutting club face motion, which will get me pulling my irons.
A higher skilled player.
Drove me crazy.
Well, that's the shot that makes you want to quit golf, right? That pull, because it's hot, it's long. They don't mow long and left.
And you're always seeing the ball come out over your left shoulder. It's like, I just want to see it come out in front of me.
This isn't a knock on anyone who taught us these drills, because this is years back when nothing was measured. You had to rely on the camera being in whatever location. I don't even think these people that taught us this are teaching. I know Mike is not teaching anymore, but it's just, we still see it out there.
Yeah.
So the drill was, and it started with a tee to kind of rub my pocket here with the tee, meaning my hands were coming in. My hands were coming in, club was staying out. I really did nothing with this. And what it got me into doing was moving my shoulders this way. So I started to develop that hoist back swing. And exactly like you said, at some point, the club's got to flip back behind me. And then for more years than I care to imagine, I got sick of seeing my swing with it getting long and laid off at the top, because as soon as you pull in transition, it stands up, and like you said, it tips out over the hands coming down, and the left ball makes you never want to play again.
Or you'll hang on and pop out of the
Exactly
shot.
right. The kissing cousin of the left
There's
ball.
days that you play good, but it's just, you never know what's quite going to come out of it.
You always have it loaded in the chamber with
Yeah.
that. And again, it stems from right there getting kind of, and I got to the point where I could scrape my hands, my shorts would get a little dingy spot there, just scraping my hands. Because if the tee was good, closer's got to be better, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just how these sick brains work when you're a practicer. So that's number one. What should we do instead of that?
Yeah, so my way to teach this now is to get things lined up here.
Yep.
If you're going to do a takeaway drill, get the lead shoulder going across. You know, don't just stick the club there. We know that doesn't work.
Right.
The body has to pivot. So lead shoulder across, and you're just kind of shaking hands with the left hand and putting your other hand on. And as you bend over a little bit, like a golf swing, that face will tip down just slightly, and you'll be in a good spot. Now you've got the weight of the club kind of in line with the arm, and you've got the club on the backswing track. So you've gone from address to getting it up on this backswing track. Now I can go up and down that track, and the club motion will move along with my hands.
Right.
Where the other way, the club motion is going this one direction, the hand path is another direction, and they scissor the other way.
They're always kind of flopping back and forth.
Yeah, you don't get this kind of uniform lowering of the hands and lowering of the club head at a very similar rate, which is a good thing to do as far as consistency.
Right. We did a video where we took the body out of it and just showed you. Well, we did one video where we showed you about 100 and so clubs moving. And the club moves pretty simply. It doesn't do all the flopping around that you see.
You see some people doing it, but
Caused by, right, the guys that are actually winning. So
yeah,
that's number one. Like this is a high blood pressure video for us because it's starting to bring back some
I don't even want
memories.
to practice that.
Okay. Number two, right behind you is the towel.
Yep. So
I mean, how many hours? I can tell you how many years I spent doing this drill.
yeah, so again, I don't mind it with little wedge shots. It actually can help
Right.
if you're really disconnected and you're not pivoting. But the problem lies when you start adding this to a full swing.
Yes.
Because you can't elevate, depending on where you stuff this, you know, up under your arm or down lower a little bit, you can't elevate your trail arm enough to get it to where it needs to be.
I was taught to have it kind of right where you've got it, kind of right mid, higher mid bicep.
And again, I don't mind it for these little half shots.
Right.
It marries up your arm and swing and body turn. But if I try to make a full backswing like this, it's difficult to get the arms high enough to where they need to be at the top of the swing. So you're going to abbreviate your backswing. It's also going to get it to where it's kind of deep. And then the first move for that golfer, usually, because the arm angle is so low and they turn, it sends the hand path out. So they have to do they had to add a few other moves in to be playable at that point.
I was actually given this drill to do in response to drill number one.
Oh, whoa.
Right?
You were
Getting
lifting late.
laid off and lift late.
Yeah.
And this one in here, and like again, keeping that bicep on my rib cage, you know, and nobody likes to hit it short. So you eventually just start getting backswing length by folding that arm. And if you fold that arm, then you've got to unfold that arm, and it creates a mess. Like that was, if it wasn't the worst stretch of golf I ever played, and again, I'll put the blinders on and do it over and over and over again, trying to work through it. It was close to the worst stretch of golf I've ever played. What do we like to do instead of that?
So I was one step ahead of you. So, you know, if you're going to do any kind of drill for the arm motion, a decent one is to put this up under here.
Or a glove.
Yeah, or a glove. It's okay to feel it stay connected in the first part of the swing here where I'm making this pivot. And then I'm going to use that pivot to send my arms upward. And when I do that, it's okay to let that drop. And it kind of should drop, depending on how you stuff it in there or whatever. But I like the feeling of it coming out because over the years, I practiced so much with a glove under my arm and a towel that I have to constantly remind myself it's okay to drop that glove. The first person I saw do it, and people have called me out on this for, said, that's not true. I saw Vijay Singh do it 100 years ago at Bay Hill. He just dropping the glove at the top of the swing.
And Vijay's done probably every drill under this.
I was like, and he was the #1 player at the world at the time. I'm thinking, ooh, that's something to that. He's getting his arms up there. He was a big guy, and he hit it so far. And part of it was he's increasing his arc length and height and width.
Yeah, you can see that swing. Hands way up, club way down. Yeah.
So for him, dropping it, he probably, again, at some point, I'm totally guessing here, VJ's watching this, he may have played at one point, tried to keep something on his arm. And now some of those things get programmed into the point where you constantly have to watch them because they're always on the edge of creeping back in. So
right, you're trying to operate in a window.
Yeah, so that one there is really good. If if you've been guilty or tried the towel drill or straight jacket, or there's all kinds of training aids over the years. If you did it too much of that, drop it. It's going to feel pretty good to get your arm up there where you would throw something, because that's really what we're doing. We're throwing this piece of steel around us.
Right, and again, kind of preface this by saying anything good or bad can be over or underdone.
Yeah, we're not talking about this. We're not talking about super flare, chicken elbow, trail arm.
If you're a practicer, you're eventually going to do what you're practicing. Hopefully that's the goal. Like, these aren't feels. These are actually doing things physically to create movements. And when you actually start doing these things, it's not good.
This is jumping around a little bit, but like sometimes people ask, well, why does a tour player need a golf coach? The coach is there to keep them in their window.
Right.
Hey man, you're overdoing that a little bit. Come back to the middle a little bit. Oh, you overwent the other way. So they're just trying to stay in this kind
of... Your perception of what you're doing in space is always changing.
It changes day to day.
If it didn't change, nobody good would ever need any help.
That's right.
That's not the case.
Anyways.
So before we go into the third drill, which again, it's a high blood pressure video for us. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps us out a ton. Also, let us know in the comments if you've done any of these drills before. If you're still doing any of these drills, or if you found better alternatives than what we're giving you, we'd love to hear about it. And also let us know if there's something in your swing you're working on that you haven't seen a videos from, but you would like help with. We'd be happy to do that. The third drill. Drill number 3 is one I'm sure you've seen before. We see it a lot still done today, and I'm talking about the full swing. I've done this for a solid summer and just wore this drill out. It's setting up to it, backswing, pointing at the target line, not bad advice.
No.
But then coming down and never letting this club, the shaft extension, hit me in the side for a full swing.
Not good. Do not do that. Please do not do that.
It's literally the opposite of what happens.
Yeah, if that was a sword, it would cut you right in two.
Should cut me in half. So again, the goal is to get shaft lean, right? By pulling the arms across you, which we've made hopefully enough videos now recently that you know that is not how shaft lean is created.
I mean, the funny part is we never even talk about shaft lean in a lesson. When's the last time we even talked about it in a lesson?
No, we 2 days ago, we showed the player who had no shaft lean how much shaft lean he got at the end of the lesson.
That's how it should work.
But it's the byproduct.
Trying to fix these impact positions with like a drill like this is a disaster because it doesn't transfer to your golf swing. What are you going to do? Go around playing golf like this? I mean, you wind up with a really... You're not going to be happy where that ball goes if you actually start, which should be the goal of a drill, is to do what you're practicing. It slows the club down because this club needs to start whipping through here to add that, to get some more club speed.
What it did with me is to get this across me and out in front is it got this hip to be super lazy, like dropped anchor to get it across. And then it kind of fired after where impact would be, and it's gross.
Yeah. I mean, if I want to get the energy from my body out into the club, I've got to let this thing swing around, and it would slice right through me on the way through. So like if you gave a drill like that to a high level ball striker like a McElroy, who really releases that thing up the plane.
It's on. We can do this on gears. We can put an extension line through the shaft on gears. Everyone would miss their body at impact, and then by there, it's already cut them in half, and it's on the trail side, the exact opposite of that. And when you do the opposite of what good players do, you are asking for it if you're a practicer.
Yeah, that one there has ruined a lot of golf swings.
Yeah, so let that club release, get your body in position. We've done so many videos on making sure that happens. But for a concept, stop trying to hold that release. I mean, how many lessons to where I'll stand on this side of the golfer hitting into the net and just have him bring it to right here. And the hands are way in here. And I was like, bro, that's a slice. What do you mean? Like it blows them up because that's all they've heard about the release being just a drag across your body. It's not that at all.
To the point where if I see that when they're warming up, I'm like, this is going to be a long lesson.
So you do a great alternative for this, and this is the first time I ever heard this from you. Is like, imagine you have a BB down the shaft
Yeah.
and sling that out. Describe what
one.
you're talking about there.
We have a club somewhere that has a BB in it. So basically, you can imagine there's a BB inside this club, and if I tipped it this way, it would go zink. You'd hear it come down that steel shaft, and if I tipped it this way, it would go zink down to the grip. So at address, it's the BB's down in the head, right? If I flip it upside down here on the backswing, that BB is going to be in my hands, right? It's going to come down to get in the hands. My thought process is I want to shoot the BB. So if I want to shoot the BB, I'm not going to do this. If I want to really shoot it kind of on the target line, kind of somewhere extended target line, I'm going to let this club right in here as I start to get my body in position and straighten my leg out. I'm going to shoot that BB like that. So I have to let this club point back at me eventually.
It's already starting to cut you in half.
And it's already right through me and sliced me right in two.
Yep. So don't crack any more ribs. Don't hold any more laundry. And don't put your hands in your pocket. I got you on that one.
Yeah.
Don't put your hands in your pocket in the backswing. You stop doing those 3 drills. If you're doing them, start to see your swing improve.